Well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today, I am getting ready to head to the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show in Indianapolis, Indiana. And Rich is staying here to keep working on that thing. 1979 Pontiac Trans Am convertible 404-speed car. As you guys have seen, we had a little bit of an issue with the engine break-in on the first one. It ate a camshaft, which is super fun. So we have gone through everything. We have rebuilt the motor. And Rich is... Appalachian engineering himself a brand new engine run stand thing. He made a thing, and he's got a fuel cell, and he's got a thing to be able to mount the radiator for it. So he's gonna do he's gonna break it in on an engine run stand, an interestingly engineered engine run stand, because this way, if we do have a problem, instead of having to spend 40 hours pulling it back out of that car and going through it, we can just run it on the engine run stand, fix whatever needs to be fixed. If it has an oil leak or something stupid, or God forbid it fails to break in that camshaft correctly, we can just do it again on an engine run stand instead of dealing with all of that noise. So I'm going to get rolling. Rich is going to take it from here. Good luck, I guess.
Well, one more quart of oil. We're going to prime the oil pump. I've got 5 quarts of driven BR40 in here, which is break-in oil from Driven Racing Oil. We actually spoke to them over at the PRI Show the other day. We'll probably be using their oil for break-ins from here forward. I have an oil pressure sensor hooked up to this. I have my infrared thermometer. My starter's hooked up. I basically just, once I get my oil pump primed, filled with water, I'll be ready to fire this thing up. Hopefully it won't bounce all over the floor and topple my makeshift engine run stand. But I have holes drilled in all my, in front of all my push rods, and I have a paint mark on all my push rods, so that as this fires up and runs, I can watch the push rods rotate. And if they're rotating, great, we'll just keep moving forward. If they're not rotating, then we're going to disassemble the engine and take it back apart again. The idea is to run it as long as I can, or if I don't see a push rod rotating, then I'm just going to shut it down. I got to put my carb back on and go run over and get some fuel, but I'm hoping to wrap this up yet today so that it can cool down. And then I can tinker with it a bit more on Monday. And hopefully after that I'll be able to put it all back together and not have to put another candle. And just like that, I have 30 psi of oil pressure. I have oil all the way through my push rods and into my rocker arms now. And I'm going to run it for another 3 minutes. So I've dropped my distributor in. My timing is statically set at 12 degrees before top dead center on number 6 ignition. I'm going to line my pointers up, will put me within a couple of degrees, or at least it should put me in a couple of degrees of where I want my static initial timing to be. I'll lock that down. I've got my timing light set up so I can check it as soon as this thing fires. The cam globe eating itself in 15 minutes was probably not my fault, but we're going to see if we have better luck this time. And hopefully we do. Looks like my valve cover's leaking right here already. Other than that, everything's looking pretty good. I'm going to get some fuel and fill my radiator up with coolant, and then we'll give this thing a shot and see if it fires up. If it fires up, we'll run it. If it doesn't fire up, we'll, I don't know, take a vacation maybe. Oh, well, I think think I've got everything the way it needs to be. I've pre-charged the carburetor with fuel and my accelerator pump is working now. I've statically timed 12 degrees base timing, which should put me right around 36 total all in. I don't know, I'm gonna fire it up. We're gonna spin it around and we'll try and make a run for a half an hour. I've got 4 gallons of coolant, well, water in the radiator. Hopefully my little contraption here won't vibrate around too much. If it does, we'll have to secure our fixture a little better next time. But I'm gonna grab just a couple more things. I've got a fire extinguisher at the ready. And it's time to see if it's gonna fly or not. This is gonna be really loud. If you think the compressor's loud, this is gonna be much worse. But it is what it is. Let's fire it up. I think I've done everything I can do. Turn that idle up, but we are on the fast idle cam, so we'll see where that puts us. Power up my distributor. Say a prayer. Let's see if it'll fire. Really weird. Well, that's it for today. I got a bunch of oil leaks from these valve holes in the valve covers, so it's smoking pretty bad. And I got a leak out of my front seal, so I'll have to resolve that. Or maybe that's my front oil pan. But glad I don't have to fix that front oil leak in the car. All my push rods look to be moving. I'm gonna let it cool down entirely overnight. I'll pull the intake, valley pan. I have the inner valve springs out, so I have to reinstall those. But all of my lifters appear to be, or all my push rods appear to be rotating, so that's a good sign. The one in the back, in the same place as I had a problem before, is a little lazy, but I think if we pull it out and it looks good, then we'll be good to go.
Well, it's day 2. I had a little bit of an oil leak coming off of my bottom of my crank. It's actually leaking over here and then walking down the pan. I have reinforcements ordered. I was supposed to put those on initially, but I wanted to get this thing on the stand. They've been ordered and they'll be here when they get here. I have a leak coming from the front of the pan too, which it's coming off the extension. And I probably just don't have the flange on the oil pan as straight as I need it to be for this rubber reinforced gasket. So once we're done playing with it on the stand here, I'm actually going to put it back on the engine stand and pull the oil pan off, and that'll allow me to check my rod and main bearings after the break-in, make sure there's no damage to them, so that we know 100% the quality of what we will be putting back in this customer's car. In the meantime, I'm going to fire it off real quick, and I wanted to video the push rods moving. You can see I've got painted marks, and you can see every time the rocker actuates, those rotate. They're supposed to rotate like a quarter turn is the theory. Some are doing that. I've got one here and one here that seem a little lazy, so we'll take a look at those lifters when we pull the intake back off. This one here, when at initial break-in, was actually tapping. It's like the lifter hadn't pumped up, and I probably 5-10 minutes into the run-in, I was hearing a tapping, and I started feathering the throttle and dropping it in varying throttle range, and then it quieted down and started doing everything it was supposed to do. So I think we're looking pretty good, other than the oil all over the floor. And some of that's from me having these windows in the valve cover, and it runs down off the side, and I knew it was going to leak and make a mess. But, you know, it's a cool thing about old engines is you can hook up a power wire to your HEI distributor. My fingers aren't working this morning. And give it 2 pumps of fuel, which sets your choke. And you fire it up. Maybe. Oh no. Oh, my starter. My starter lead came off. There we go. Now it'll start. Probably. That's embarrassing. It won't start with a flywheel on the floor, Rich. Let's put the flywheel back on. Okay, now that the flywheel's on. Engine test run. So now it's time to put it on an engine stand and tear it all back apart.
Great success! Ha-ha! Pontiac is behaving itself. That is good news. Obviously, we have a couple of valve cover leak issues. Who would have known cutting holes in your valve covers is going to cause engine oil leaks. He's got a couple things he's buttoning up. There's going to be a teardown process coming here. That's going to be in the next video because we got to put the inner springs back in, fix a couple of valve leaks or oil leaks, verify everything is good as far as the wear in that from that break-in process. Make sure everything is 100% correct. And then we can put this thing back in that car and be happy with it. For those of you who came to us from Performance Research or Performance Racing Show, good to have you here. Thanks for being here. This is really what we do. We are an automotive shop. We don't make TV shows. We are a shop with a show, not a show with a shop. This is legitimate, honest, real work, real working shop. And if this is the kind of stuff you're interested in, we're always happy to have new fans of the channel. So thanks for being here, folks. I had a great time at Performance Racing Industry 2023 show. Thanks for all of the watch time, all the new viewers that came on board for that. I'm glad you enjoyed the content, but from here until next year, well, here until Power Tour, it's going to be real actual work. So if you're interested, click on that subscribe button. Like it if you've made it this far. If you got any comments or anything, let us know. We'll see you real soon on the next update. Take care. Bye-bye.